This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hi John, how you doing?
Good to be here, thank you, man.
Well, thank you for taking time and talking about Raven with us. So, John Gallagher, you're the lead singer and bass player for Raven, a band that has been around for decades.
I've been accused of this many times, yes.
Very good. You've released a dozen of studio albums, live albums, and so on and so on. And you've been co-pioneered the new wave of British heavy metal.
Right.
So, you've been around for decades in the music business. What we would like to know is, how is it for you to be a musician today, 2015, compared to when you started in the 70s or 80s?
Well, it's obviously different. Business is, not only is it cyclical, it also just exponentially moves forward and changes all the time. So where trends can come and go, business models change constantly. So we're in the position now where we can actually make more money at what we do than when we were really making money, as it were. There was a lot of money to be made in the 80s, but it was all getting ripped off us, basically. So we'd do records, we'd go out on tour, and we'd get our per diem, and that was it. And we weren't the only people to fall foul of that. We were young, naive, and happy to be out on the road doing stuff, So you kind of do a little bit of a deal with the devil in order to move forward sometimes. But right now it's exciting in that there was always the business kind of got between the fans and the bands, and that's kind of getting eliminated. There's a lot more connection, a lot more interaction, and not all of it's good, but most of it is, and it's for us, it's very positive.
You just mentioned the business model changed over the years, especially with the internet, the social internet, right. Especially. Your most recent album, Extermination, was partially funded through a crowdfunding platform.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about it? How did it go about? What did you do?
Yeah, well, we did a really good record previously, Walk Through Fire, which is kind of a comeback record for us because my brother had a bad accident in 2001 and it took about 4 years for him to learn how to walk and get over that. And so we did the record, we did a lot of touring, and we knew we had a tough nut to crack to beat it. We had to, do some heavy lifting to get to the next level with the next record. And we knew our budget wasn't going to be enough, because we wanted to spend a lot of time writing. And although we do a lot of internet and email and all that, we really got to be in the same room. And we all live all over the place in the States. So, Mark's in Florida, Joe's in Massachusetts, Sam in Virginia. We have to pick somewhere where we can all get together and write and rehearse and bounce ideas off each other. And it costs money. It's, travel, flight, hotels, rehearsal halls, all that nonsense. And we knew we were going to be short. And I said, well, what do we do? And the idea of crowdfunding came up. A friend of mine has a band and has done a couple of crowdfunding things. And he was saying, well, we're a small band. We have a small amount of people helping us. And if we can earn this much money, you guys can definitely do better. So we checked it out, floated it for some of our fans, and it seemed very excited about it. And for us, it was a chance to do a little bit more than just do the record. So we could do the record the way we want it. We can also do, the usual, like a special T-shirt, a special this, and then there's like the vinyl version, and then, maybe demo tracks. And we came up with the idea of doing an actual full-length album of cover tunes called Party Killers, which has been a private joke of ours for years. We were at a disco once and asked to put on Queen Sheer Heart Attack live version to a disco crowd, and the room emptied, and we were like, Party Killers, yeah. And songs that would clear a bad disco instantly. So we took the opportunity and took 3 days and went in and did all these songs which are near and dear to our heart when we were kids. You know, bands like Slade, Status Quo, Sweets, who else? Nazareth, and all the bands of our youth. And we had a lot of fun, and it's got really well received, and people love it. So it was a win-win for us. The fans really loved what they got. They were really happy to contribute, and we got to do the record the way we want to do. We worked again with our previous engineer, Kevin 131, produced it ourselves. And the real difference was we took a lot of time writing the songs and arranging them, getting them the way we wanted it. And then went in live and went crazy and made a bunch of racket for 2 weeks, and boom, did it. So it's kind of like controlled chaos.
Very good. So basically, keeping the artistic freedom was important for you.
Yeah, always. I mean, at this point, that's one of the few things you got. That's one of the things we produce ourselves. We have a good handle on what makes a good Raven record. We self-edit pretty well. You know, I wouldn't say no, but you're never going to, I don't think you'll see an 18-minute epic coming out of the band. It's not our thing to beat something to death, or let's play the riff 45 times. It's not really our style. And we're very critical of what we do as far as keeping the originality. And we looked at the songs and said, well, does this part work? Do we need this? This is an extra part. Will we be better repeating something else or take it out altogether? So there was these kind of arguments and fighting, in a sense, to make the best thing possible. And we ended up with 15 tracks, which are all stand up by themselves, all killer, no filler. The 1 or 2 reviews that were slightly critical was like, well, this is too long. It's like, well, we're not writing it for you, we're writing for the fans. They waited 6-7 years for an album. Boom, there you go. You get your value for money.
Exactly, great. And the great thing with Kickstarter is the fans which you reach, or just anyone who discovers you through the platform, they pledge the money, and they basically
and they can pledge what they want. I mean, they can pledge just to buy the record, or they can pledge to get the record plus the additional covers album, or you know, it went all the way up until like the high 3 figures, or like $1,000 or what have you. Because there's some people out there with good taste and a lot of money, I guess. And it was pretty amazing to see it. And it's probably just as well it went past its goal, because all the odds and ends, the T-shirts and the vinyls were very expensive to do. So we basically made it work at the end of the day, which was great.
Perfect. Did you expect it to work that well?
We figured we'd make enough to cover ourselves, and to be honest, if we just got what we asked for, we probably would have shot ourselves in the foot. So it was good that we got the extra money. We were able to do it all right, because you always think, oh, well, there'll be some extra money. We'll make a lot. And it didn't work out like that, but that's okay. It worked. And that's the important thing. Exactly. We were able to do it the way we wanted to do it. And, you know, and the fans have responded. I mean, actually, this record, we had the best response probably since the first album. We've never had responses like this, as far as the fans and the critics. So it's a good feeling. You know, we did it right.
I can imagine. And just today I checked, and you had 461 backers who pledged $27,000 something, which is a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, it went so well, and there was so much good press, I guess, amongst the fans, that next time we do a record, we'll probably almost certainly do it again, and we'll probably do better, because people said, oh wow, I wish I could have been in on that, I would have liked to do that. So you set it up with maybe a longer lead time so people get in on it, and you have a little bit of a teaser of an idea, or throw it out to the fans. Hey, what would you like to hear us play? A little bit of that. You know? And when they come back with all those ABBA tunes and Madonna tunes, we'll tell them to go to hell, and then we'll do what we want.
Sure. And how did you go about reaching the fans or spreading the word of your Kickstarter
It's purely,
campaign?
I mean, the Kickstarter program itself, obviously, there's people cruise that to look. There's people with money who want to help bands, I guess, that do that. Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that, just social media. And then word of mouth.
You just mentioned social media. Do you use social media as a band yourself, or do you have a PR agency or something?
No, as ourselves. Basically, I mean, I do some stuff on my own Facebook page. We also have a Raven Facebook page. We have Twitter. I don't quite understand Twitter. It seems more like, this is the world according to me, which I guess is great for bands. So the guy who did the Kickstarter with us was using it on our behalf. I haven't done very much in the world of Twitter. So maybe that'll change.
Streaming, music streaming is such a big buzzword nowadays. We like to ask our guests, do you think that music streaming killed the music star? What's your take
No,
on it?
but it's helping to put the nails in the coffin, I think. The fact that it appears to be backroom deals done between the music streaming outfits and the record companies, cutting out the artists. It was very gratifying to see somebody like Taylor Swift, who's a very successful artist, speak out against it. And to state publicly, you know, I don't care. I make money already. It's bands and artists who are young and struggling and should get paid for what they're doing, who are not getting paid. When you get 0.0007 cents or whatever, whether it's dollars or euros per play, there's something seriously wrong. There's people like Pharrell Williams, had how many millions of plays of that happy song and made like $2,000. That's obscene. It really is. You know, people should be paid accordingly if they're doing stuff like that. So that's wrong. And I guess it all precipitated way back when with Napster. And I remember reading an article where, what was the guy's name? Sean, who started it off.
Flanagan.
Yes, and whoever he was in partner with. They met with a bunch of record companies, and the record companies wanted nothing to do with it. They just wanted to crush it. And because of that, they sealed their own death warrant. You know, there's a whole bunch of people out there, I guess, who just feel it's perfectly okay to go out there and just steal music, just get it for free. I mean, I've downloaded, but I download bootlegs. I can buy the albums. I want the stuff you can't hear. I want Deep Purple playing Long Beach Arena in '73 or something, you know.
Exactly.
So, I mean, people don't even have to, they just go on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. That was a huge battle when the record came out, trying to eliminate a lot of these things on YouTube. But you can't. I mean, they can block it. They can block it. The record company will block it. And they did. They managed to keep it blocked for probably the first month. And then it's just overwhelming.
So you can't block it in the end?
You really can't. I don't think so. I mean, you'll look for content that's associated with, say, Sony. Sony's got a lot of clout, and I believe they're involved with SPV, our record company. So they were able to crush a lot of it, but you can't kill it all. It's out there. And we're lucky that it's a genre of music where the fans want to have a physical article, by and large. So if it wasn't for that, no one would be buying it at all. And then, of course, you got the resurgence of vinyl, which is amazing. And people want to have that big package and be able to read. And there was an article I read, a guy I know from a band in America, Bob Mayo, did a great article about the MP3, saying people get this, and you have no backstory. You have no idea who's playing, who's the bass player, who's the drummer, how did they meet, and you don't get what we got when we were kids, where you could pore over the record label and see who the engineer was and the producer and go, wow, the producer, what else has he done? And try and find this stuff out. You know, it's not there if you've just got a tune with a name. So,
do you think that with every movement there is a and like a different movement. Do you think maybe the next generation or the young generation today might get into more physical?
Yeah.
And do you think that?
I think so. I think that's already started. I think there's a definite backlash against everything being, I'm not sure what the word is, but definitely the opposite of having a physical artifact in your hand. It's basically something intangible in the air. No, I want to have a real collector's item. I mean, when we put the record out, you get the CD with the album. So some people don't even play it. It's just, I have it. That collector thing. So that's, and then it's so much better because you can actually create art for the album. It's very hard to create art for a CD. It's so small. But if you're going to have a total digital download thing, I mean, who looks at the artwork on those things? It's just...
what do you think, at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned that nowadays digital brought the music or the artists and the fans closer together. Do you think
through the whole social media thing and that, yeah.
Do you think it's going to be it's going to go further than that? Then maybe the middleman will someone be out of the picture?
Well, take a look at I don't know what your big record store here is, MediaMarkt or whatever. I mean, the amount of shelf space on CDs just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks to the extent where, like in Walmart in America, it's one rack from here to your speakers. It's 4 meters, that's it. How can anyone sell anything with that? It's only the top 10 artists. That's all you're going to get. So everything's bought online, if at all, or hopefully there's still some mom and pop stores floating around. But that's kind of a disturbing trend. So you've got that. But then you've got the vinyl thing. And the internet killed everything, but by the same token, you have access to the information, if you want to look up or to check out all recorded music almost, which is incredible. I mean, you've got that at your fingertips. But, you go onto YouTube and you listen to whatever. Here's the Moody Blues first album. It doesn't help them very much. So really, the artist should be paid for their work. It's the poor, Lars Ulrich got his ass handed to him when he spoke out against it. And it's taken years before people turn around going, yeah, he was right. And he was. And the only way they could have changed it then is to have worked out some sort of realistic business model where people could download and pay for it without letting the cat out the bag or the genie out of the bottle.
We talked to an American hip-hop artist called Black Milk, and he said, you cannot download the life experience. So he was referring to all illegal downloads of streaming and so on. So he based his model a lot on live shows.
Yes.
You play a lot, and I just read that on your last North American tour, you played in a garage.
We did at one of them. One of the shows was cancelled because they had a idiot promoter who double booked the venue, and friends of ours had played this guy's house. I was like, let me find out about it. It was better than some of the gigs we played.
Perfect.
The guy had a stage like this, and he had a PA bigger than this, and he had a real light rig. And, we had about 100 people there, and it was, they fed us and everything, and it was great.
Perfect.
And it was like, you're going to do that, or are you going to sit in a hotel for a day? It's like, so we played the show. So we've done that, and last year we played in front of 70,000 people opening for Metallica, so... we work both ends of the spectrum.
Would you agree that, because apparently there is a misconception about it, but would you agree that with more, nowadays, if you play shows, it's more relevant for the business model today than maybe back in the days?
Yes, it is, because it's one of the few ways you can make money. To a degree, we're in the business of selling T-shirts, not selling CDs. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought we'd be working, selling garments?
What's next for Raven?
Well, we've got the rest of this tour, which continues through until the 25th, finishes in London. We're doing like 6 dates in the UK. Get to play our hometown on the 24th, Newcastle, which would be great. And then we take a well-earned break. It's been a crazy couple of years. And we're looking at South America for next year and festivals for Europe. So
great.
Keep us busy.
That sounds very good. So thank you very, very much for the very interesting interview. All the best.
You bet.
And hope to see you again.
You got it.